Yeah. Tell us about the video, and I think a lot of people are curious as to how it came about, and is everything okay with Ray?
Obviously, I want to be as candid with you guys as possible. I kind of like have a thing where talk about my personal life with people I don't know personally. I'm pretty sure everybody here, men and women, are great people, but you know what I'm saying? I kind of keep my personal life personal. I had a conversation with Rabes, obviously. I'm going to echo everything that he said. He told me, hoping everybody making good decisions, you know what I'm saying? And I had a conversation with people in the building as well, so, everything else, tickets is all internal.
So I understand that it's kind of coming on us to ask what was in the bag.
Obviously, it's a conversation, that's happening internal. You know what I'm saying? I can't have too much of a conversation about it. But I've been in this league 10 years. You can format the question many different ways. I'm going to obviously answer it the same way. So.
Step by step one, did you know it was being recorded?
Once again, you can format the question many different ways. You know what I'm saying? I've been doing this for 10 years. The conversation that I had with Rabes and the people in the building, obviously, is going to be handled internal, you know what I'm saying, an in-house thing. So.
Do you regret it happened?
So you ask me again. I would hate to repeat myself.
My drip.
Bottom of my shoelaces. You can't give nobody your heart no more. You can't. You can't give it. I'm not giving it. I'm giving it. This is 2,000.
Stefon Diggs and Cardi B have been accused of staging the most scandalous PR stunt of the year. But what started as a fake relationship for clout has spiraled into something way darker. Leaked documents, hidden lovers, and a jaw-dropping betrayal involving Offset have blown the lid off what may be one of the biggest celebrity cover-ups in recent memory. And now, Diggs' ex-girlfriend is done playing nice. She just leaked what she claims are pages from Cardi and Stefon's secret relationship contract. And if what she's saying is true, this wasn't just about publicity. Allegedly, Cardi B was recruited to play Stefon's beard while hiding an explosive motive of her own. But the real question is, who's scamming who? Stefon Diggs and Cardi B might be making headlines for their flashy public romance. But behind the scenes, a bitter ex-girlfriend just cracked open a scandal that could derail both of their careers. Sky Marlene, a woman once dismissed as just another ex looking for clout, has just dropped what she claims are leaked pages from a secret relationship contract between the Buffalo Bills wide receiver and the rap superstar. And according to her, their entire relationship is fake. That's right. Sky says it's all been a strategic PR move, a brand-enhancing lie wrapped in Balenciaga and paparazzi flashes. But here's the real twist. She claims Cardi isn't just going along with the scam. Allegedly, she's in on it because she's acting as Stefon's beard. If Sky's story is to be believed, this wasn't just a random hookup turned social media stunt. This was a calculated arrangement with money, image, and industry politics on the line. The documents she leaked, blurry but damning, appear to outline media obligations, NDA clauses, and an expiration date. And yet, that's just the surface. Sky claims this contract was never supposed to see daylight. She allegedly got the photos by accessing Stefon's phone while he slept, saying she took screenshots of the contract that was stored in a locked file folder under the alias CBD15. Now, she's gone public not just to expose him, but to warn Cardi that the game she's playing might backfire harder than she thinks. And that raises the question that has everyone buzzing. Why would Cardi B, a Grammy-winning, chart-topping rapper with her own empire, sign up to play someone's beard? To understand the full weight of this bombshell, we have to talk about Sky Marlene, a name that's quickly gone from tabloid footnote to headline gold. Before all this drama exploded, Sky was just known as Stefon's on-again, off-again ex. She's a model and influencer who first entered his orbit back in 2020. Their relationship was rocky from the jump. Secret meetups, ghosting, Instagram unfollows, the works. But according to Sky, they always had a deep bond behind the chaos. In fact, she says Stefon would repeatedly show up at her place even after he went public with Cardi. At first, no one believed her. She was labeled bitter, jealous, desperate for attention. But then came the screenshots. Sky posted a thread showing what she claims are internal messages between Stefon and his PR team. Text discussing photo ops with Cardi, brand alignment, and image cleanup, following rumors about his sexuality. She followed it up with excerpts from the alleged contract, complete with initials that match both Stefon and Cardi. Suddenly, people weren't laughing anymore. They were listening. Because if even half of what Sky's alleging is true, then we're looking at a full-scale celebrity deception playing out on Instagram, on red carpets, and in NFL box seats. And then came the most damning part of all, Sky's claims about what was happening behind closed doors. According to her, Stefon was never faithful to Cardi because he never truly left her. She alleges that he continued sneaking over to her apartment, keeping things intimate, all while posing for couple pics with Cardi online. And that's not even the most shocking detail. Sky says Stefon's real secret, the one he's allegedly gone to great lengths to hide, is that he's gay. She claims that during their years together, Stefon confessed to her that he was attracted to men but felt pressured to maintain a straight image for his career. According to Sky, he even paid several former male partners to keep quiet, monthly payouts, NDAs, the whole nine. And now, she claims, the pressure of playing two roles, loving boyfriend in public, closeted athlete in private, is pushing him to the edge. So what does all of this mean? If the contract is real, if the relationship is fake, and if Cardi B is willingly participating, then this isn't just celebrity drama. It's a full-blown scheme with reputations, millions, and identities at stake. And Sky? She's no longer just the bitter ex. She might be the whistleblower in a scandal bigger than anyone saw coming. Just when the internet thought Sky Marlene had emptied the clip, she came back with something even more explosive, a motive for Cardi B. Because according to Sky, this wasn't just a one-sided contract cooked up by Stefon Diggs to hide his personal truth. No, Sky alleges that Cardi knew exactly what she was signing, and did it because she had everything to gain. The PR relationship wasn't just protection for Stefon. It was a calculated comeback strategy for Cardi herself. And in Sky's own words, Cardi didn't need Stefon's love. She needed his distraction. Sky claims that while the internet was busy gossiping about Cardi's messy breakup with Offset, what fans weren't seeing was the real play happening behind the scenes. Allegedly, the breakup was fake, staged, nothing but a viral smokescreen to set up the next chapter in Cardi's career. And her so-called new man, Stefon Diggs, was just the next move on the chessboard. Sky insists that Cardi and Offset never truly split, despite all the social media unfollowing, subliminal dices, and emotional posts. Instead, she claims they agreed to separate publicly to generate buzz, build sympathy, and shift the narrative heading into Cardi's long-delayed sophomore album. In other words, Stefon wasn't the rebound. He was the alibi. Now think about that. Cardi B, one of the most dominant breakout stars of the last decade, hasn't dropped a second album since Invasion of Privacy blew up the charts back in 2018. That album gave her a Grammy, multiple number ones, and historic milestones. But that kind of success is both a crown and a curse. Because now, every year that passes, the pressure to deliver something even bigger mounts. Her name alone isn't enough anymore. The hype train is slowing. And the numbers? They're watching. Industry insiders have whispered about missed deadlines, scrap singles, and label tension. Cardi's own fan base, the Barty Gang, has started getting restless, asking why she's everywhere except the Billboard Hot 100. Sky says Cardi knows this, feels it, fears it, and that's why, according to her, Cardi needed to create chaos, a viral storm, something loud enough to drown out the skepticism and reset the public's focus. A breakup with Offset? That's the spark. A sudden new romance with an NFL star? That's the flame. But here's where it gets surgical. Sky claims Cardi needed a safe man. Someone clean-cut, marketable, not messy like her real life. Stefon, with his polished image, athletic fame, and just enough sex appeal to stir curiosity, fit the bill perfectly. He was high profile, but not high drama. And most importantly, he was willing to play ball because he had his own secrets to protect. So allegedly, they made a deal. Cardi would act like she was done with Offset. She'd show up courtside with Stefon, share cryptic IG captions, let fans speculate. Meanwhile, her real relationship stayed hidden, her album rollout stayed on track, and Stefon got his beard. According to Sky, this is why Cardi's posts about Stefon always felt a little off. Performative, safe, almost sterile. No messy captions, no wild arguments, no broken phones or cheating scandals. All the things that made her an Offset magnetic. Instead, it was giving brand alignment. It was giving calculated. And now, thanks to Sky's revelations, fans are starting to see the cracks. If this is true, then Cardi isn't a victim of deception. She's a co-author of it. She didn't get played. She signed the playbook. And she did it for survival. For relevance. For the kind of public reinvention that keeps a star burning bright even when the music's missing. But the question is, what happens now that the curtain is falling and the script is leaked? Because if the album does drop soon, Sky's story is going to follow it like a shadow. And no amount of chart-topping singles can make that kind of scandal disappear. While the internet's attention has zeroed in on Cardi B, the real tension, the quiet storm brewing beneath the headlines, is centered on Stefon Diggs. Because if Sky Marlene's claims are true, this wasn't just a PR stunt for clout. For Stefon, it was a survival mechanism, a last-ditch effort to protect not only his public image, but his entire livelihood. We're talking about a man whose career sits at the intersection of hypervisibility and hypermasculinity. And in the world of professional football, there's little room for deviation, especially when it comes to identity. Right now, Stefon Diggs is more than just a wide receiver. He's a brand. He's the face of endorsement deals, fantasy league bragging rights, and viral GQ photo shoots. In 2022, he signed a 4-year, $96 million contract extension with the Buffalo Bills, a deal that cemented his place not only in the league, but in the upper echelon of NFL elite. That kind of money doesn't just come with expectations. It comes with conditions. Marketability, relatability, masculinity, and in a league still governed by locker room codes and unspoken homophobia, the illusion of heterosexual virility is currency. Sky Marlene claims Stefon knows this and fears what would happen if that illusion ever shattered. Her allegations suggest that Stefon has lived with this tension for years, loving who he wants behind closed doors, while carefully curating the image of a ladies' man in the spotlight. The rumors? They've been floating for a while. Quiet whispers on Twitter. Blind items hinting at a top-tier athlete who keeps one foot in two worlds. But nothing concrete until now. According to Sky, Stefon's relationship with her was never about romance. It was strategy. She alleges that while he used her as a prop for social appearances, he was still involved with men privately. And when the Cardi B contract came into play, it wasn't about lust or chemistry. It was business. A high-profile, high-stakes illusion designed to make questions disappear. Cardi had her album to protect. Stefon had his image. And more importantly, his empire. It's worth noting how rare it is for male athletes, especially in the NFL, to come out publicly. Despite the league's performative allyship during Pride Month, only one active player, Carl Nassib, has ever come out as gay. And even then, Nassib quietly exited the league just a couple years later. The message is loud and clear, whether spoken or not. Authenticity can cost you everything. Sponsorships, playing time, locker room support, legacy. For Stefon, coming out could risk millions. Not just the remainder of his contract, but also the brand deals he's carefully stacked. Nike, Bose, Jordan Brand, companies that love diversity in theory, but still hesitate when the headlines get too real. And let's not forget, football isn't just a sport. It's a spectacle rooted in American masculinity. Testosterone, grit, swagger. The second a player is outed, he stops being part of the fantasy. He becomes a controversy, a talking point, a distraction. Sky alleges that Stefon is painfully aware of this. That's why, according to her, he's allegedly gone so far as to pay hush money to former male lovers. Not because he's ashamed of who he is, but because he's terrified of what the world would do if it found out. And that fear, Sky claims, is what pushed him to agree to the Cardi B contract in the first place. It wasn't about love. It was about insurance, protection, control, a way to script the narrative before someone else did. But the irony? That attempt to hide the truth may have only made it louder. Because now, with Sky Marlene's revelations splashed across gossip blogs and Twitter threads, Stefon finds himself in the exact position he feared. Scrutinized, questioned, picked apart. And with every day of silence, the speculation grows. If the contract is fake, why not deny it? If Sky is lying, why no cease and desist? The longer Stefon waits to respond, the more it starts to look like there's something to hide. And for a man built on precision and control, this kind of chaos is the one opponent he can't outrun. So far, the Cardi B, Stefon Diggs contract has set social media ablaze, with theories flying left and right about who's benefiting from the arrangement. But one name that keeps surfacing quietly, almost in whispers, is none other than Offset. And now the question everyone's afraid to ask is starting to rise to the surface. Is Offset part of the scheme too? Is he the mastermind behind the curtain? Or just another pawn in a PR chess match gone nuclear? Let's rewind for a second. On paper, Cardi and Offset were done. She made the announcement herself, looking worn out and over it. She said she was single. She said she was ready to move on. But then, no actual divorce filings. No clear separation of assets. No long-winded Instagram rant from Offset. In fact, things got weirdly quiet. Too quiet. And that's when the Stefon Diggs headlines started popping up. 1 minute, Cardi's crying on live. The next, she's allegedly signing a relationship agreement with an NFL star. Sky Marlene alleges that the breakup was never real. That Cardi and Offset never actually split, at least not in the way the public thinks. According to her, it was all orchestrated. A carefully crafted rollout to set Cardi up with Stefon just in time for her album campaign. She needed a storyline, a glow-up, a high-profile rebound that screamed, "I'm thriving." But the irony? If Sky's telling the truth, Offset might have been involved from day one. Why? Because Offset allegedly benefits, too. In the world of celebrity PR, there's no such thing as a one-sided stunt. Cardi gets a new image and fresh media buzz. Stefon gets a beard. But Offset? He keeps his hands clean. He maintains his public status as the hurt husband, even while still reaping the rewards of their alleged off-the-record relationship. And let's not forget, Offset's no stranger to PR distractions. From Migos controversies to cheating scandals, he's learned the art of redirecting attention. Some insiders have begun whispering that Offset might have even encouraged Cardi to play along. After all, if she flops, so does the brand they've built together. Cardi's empire is still partially built on the illusion of being a solo queen who's still somehow tied to the drama of her on-again, off-again husband. If she succeeds, he stays in orbit, relevant, visible, connected to one of the most influential female rappers of her generation. And if she's playing the game for Stefon, it may be Offset who taught her the rules. But here's the catch. Is Offset using Cardi for his own benefit? Or are they in this together? Two co-conspirators keeping up appearances for mutual gain? That's the real mystery. Because if Sky's claims are true, the Cardi-Stefon show wasn't just a two-person act. It may have been a triangle, messy, strategic, and dangerously codependent. Now, this is where the story veers from scandalous to sinister. According to Sky Marlene, Stefon Diggs wasn't just keeping secrets. He was allegedly paying for their silence. Yes, Sky claims that behind the scenes, Stefon had what she calls a bribery fund, a monthly stash of hush money set aside specifically to keep former male partners quiet. Let that sink in. A monthly fund, not a one-time payout, not a here's some money, disappear moment. We're talking about a recurring budget, as if keeping people silent was part of his routine financial planning. According to Sky, the moment Stefon signed that $96 million NFL deal, everything changed. The stakes skyrocketed, and so did the demands from his alleged ex-lovers. She paints a picture of calculated damage control, NDAs, discrete payments, late-night Venmo transactions labeled as vague consulting fees, The goal? Total silence. No leaks. No stories. No screenshots. Just a clean, straight male image to uphold. But in Sky's version of events, it didn't stay clean for long. She claims some of these men grew impatient. Maybe they got greedy. Maybe they felt discarded. Either way, they allegedly started asking for more. One former partner, according to Sky, threatened to go public unless he received a six-figure payout. Another allegedly had compromising texts and voice notes and wasn't afraid to use them. And that's when the pressure cooker exploded. Because according to Sky, this blackmail didn't just rattle Stefon, it spooked him. Suddenly, the PR relationship with Cardi went from convenient to urgent. He needed a shield. Someone bigger than the rumor mill. Someone too famous to question. If people started whispering about Stefon's preferences, well, who better to silence the gossip than Cardi B herself? But even with Cardi in place, the walls kept closing in. Sky says the blackmail threats escalated. Louder, riskier, more desperate. And Stefon? He allegedly kept paying. Not because he wanted to, but because he felt trapped. Because in his world, the truth doesn't set you free. It ruins you. And when you've got nearly $100 million on the line, a fake romance might feel like a small price to pay to keep everything else from crumbling. At the heart of this swirling scandal, beyond the secret contracts, beyond the hush money, beyond even the question of Stefon Diggs' identity, is one brutal truth. Cardi B needed a win. And fast. Let's be honest. Ever since Invasion of Privacy dropped back in 2018, Cardi's fans have been asking the same question. Where's the follow-up? That debut album didn't just break records, it broke expectations. Every track was a hit, every moment a meme, every feature a flex. But years passed. Projects got delayed. Singles landed but didn't stick. And behind the scenes? Rumors of creative blocks. Label tension. Anxiety about whether lightning could strike twice. So when the Stefon Diggs relationship appeared out of nowhere, polished, convenient, and strategic, many fans were confused, but few questioned it. Until Sky Marlene tore the curtain down. Now, with allegations that the romance was contractually faked, Cardi's entire brand hangs in the balance. Because if the public believes she faked a high-profile rebound just to promote her second album, it flips the narrative. From bossed-up, no-nonsense Bronx queen to panic pop star playing industry chess just to stay relevant. And here's the cruel twist. Cardi's never needed a man to define her. Until now. That's what makes this alleged PR stunt so risky. It attaches her upcoming project, not to her talent, not to her legacy, but to a lie. A lie that she may have helped write. If the stunt implodes, if the public turns on her, if fans feel betrayed, if the relationship crumbles under scrutiny, it won't just be embarrassing. It'll be career-altering. Cardi is walking a razor's edge between reinvention and reputation ruin. Because the sad truth is, in this industry, you only get to be the underdog-turned-superstar once. After that, you're just defending the throne or falling off of it. And then there's her marriage. Because if Offset was involved in orchestrating all this, as Sky suggests, then what even is their relationship now? Are they partners in the hustle, still together behind closed doors, faking fights for headlines? Or is Cardi just another pawn in Offset's never-ending game of power, pride, and performance? Either way, the fallout from this mess won't just affect a record rollout. It's threatening to collapse Cardi's carefully curated image, the fearless, funny, outspoken rapper who never sold her soul. But what if she did? And what if the price was believability itself? But here's where the plot thickens again. Because just as Sky Marlene seems to be pulling back the curtain on Cardi and Stefon's house of cards, a new theory is beginning to bubble beneath the surface. And it's one that flips everything upside down. What if Sky is the pawn? It's easy to dismiss her as bitter, or clout chasing, or even brave for exposing a secret. But what if she's something else entirely, a decoy? Think about it. Her leaks came out just as Cardi's album rollout was ramping up, just as Stefon's off-season headlines dried up, just as Offset quietly started appearing more present again on social media. What if Sky's sudden reappearance, with perfect timing, damaging receipts, and just enough scandal to hijack the news cycle? isn't the act of a rogue ex, but the move of a willing participant in an even deeper PR game, one designed not to expose the truth, but to distract us from it. Could Offset be pulling the strings, using Sky's bitterness as fuel for a storyline that benefits him, Cardi, and Stefon all at once? If fans get caught up in dissecting fake relationships, secret contracts, and sexual speculation, then nobody's asking the harder questions. Like, why has Cardi's album really taken years to complete? Why did Stefon go radio silent for months? And what is Offset really up to behind the scenes? Is Sky being manipulated by someone bigger? Is she knowingly taking part in a revenge plot? Or is she the only one telling the truth? And the rest of them are spinning narratives to stay rich, relevant, and scandal-proof? In the end, we're left with more questions than answers. Who's lying? Who's in love? Who's in control? And most importantly, who's next? Because if this messy tangle of contracts, confessions, and conspiracies proves anything, it's that nothing in this world of fame is accidental. Every leak has a motive. Every scandal has a sponsor. And in this story, everyone's playing someone. We just don't know who's winning yet.